Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. It's 1983. It's December 1983, and I'm working at the local neighborhood booze store at 83rd and 3rd. I'm the delivery person. I take a bottle of wine up the street, around the corner, down the lane. Or a case. Or if it's a couple cases, I have a hand truck, a hand cart, and I roll it up the street. You got to go up and down the curbs and dodge the potholes. You got to be careful. So I'm the delivery person. We get a call one bright December afternoon from one of our local customers, one of our regulars, that I haven't visited yet. I haven't delivered to this guy before. Barry. Barry lives up at 86th Street on the 22nd floor. And he wants a bottle of wine and a couple bottles of scotch. And I'm going to take it up there. As I'm getting ready to leave, Gregory says, make sure to ask him about the view. And I'm like, all right. So it's just a couple of streets up 3rd Avenue. And I go on up there to 86th Street on the 22nd floor, and I knock on the door, and he opens it up, and I say, I'm from the liquor store, here's your booze. And he says, what happened to Johnny? And I'm like, oh, Johnny quit so that he could be a doorman at his aunt's apartment building. And he's like, oh. Hi, how do you do? My name is Harry. I'm your new delivery person. He says, well, come on in. I say, oh, well, I'm supposed to ask you about the view. He says, well, absolutely, come on into the living room. So we go in there, and there's a couple of beautiful young women sitting on the sofa, and he's got this legendary view out his huge window. And the women have these exotic names. It's Estrala and Peloponesia or something like that. They're very exotic. And they got these New York accents. Both of them got these New York accents. And I'm looking at the view, and he's like, Harry, would you like to join us in a sip of wine? And I'm like, I would love to join you in a sip of wine. I would be foolish to refuse such charming company. And the one girl, Peloponesia, says, oh, I like this one much better than Johnny. I said, well, thank you for that. We enjoyed a glass of wine together, and we talked about the view and everything like that. And this got to be a semi-regular thing. Barry'd call up, I'd go up. He'd invite me to join him in a glass of booze. There would always be two different women there with exotic names or names of colors or flowers. Different women every time. And so that was a regular occurrence. Barry is a regular customer. We love the guy. He's a great tipper. Fantastic. Now it's 1984. It's January 1984, and we just had a snowstorm in New York, a real one with snow. And there's slush and muck and filthy snow all over every street and every corner and every sidewalk's got slush and muck on it. And we get a call one night. It's almost closing time, and we get a call from Barry. Barry is calling the booze store from a restaurant, from a local Japanese restaurant. And he's like, is Harry there? Could you send Harry up with a magnum of white wine to this Japanese restaurant down here in the 70s? And Gregory is instantly mad because it's so close to closing. It's going to take I'm not going to be back till way after 10 o'clock, even if I hustle it, because it's 10 blocks away, and that's a 10-minute one-way walk. But he gives me the bottle of white wine, and off I trek down to this other restaurant. I've got my Frankenstein boots on because it's winter. And I've got the greatest boots there, the warmest, driest boots. Your feet need never know it's winter. They're comfortable, they're warm, and they take a long, long time to lace up to get into and to unlace to get out of. Right. So I get over to this Japanese restaurant, and I go on in, and the host doesn't understand what I'm doing with this bottle of wine. He speaks very little English, if any, and he's under the impression that I'm trying to sell some wine. And there's a bit of a confusement there, and one of the waiters comes up and who does speak a little bit more English, and we straighten out, we hash out that yes, indeed, one of the customers did indeed order this, and I've got to deliver this to his table back here. And I say, oh, and he says, oh, all right, there you go. So I start to go into the restaurant, and he screams at me in Japanese. He said something, I don't know what he said, and he's looking at me and he's pointing at my shoes, and I'm like, oh, we're in a Japanese restaurant, you can't walk in here with your slushy shoes. So I sit down on the little bench and I, start unlacing. It takes a while. And then I'm very grateful that I happen to have really cool socks on tonight. You know what I mean? They're these optical illusion socks, and they're the perfect socks if you have to go in your stocking feet in public. So that was lucky. And I go back to the table there, and there's there's Barry. Barry's sitting there with two beautiful young women. They're both named after flowers. There's Violet and there's Rose. And they're lovely and very sweet and charming. And Barry's like, Harry, would you like to join us in a glass of wine? And I'm like, oh, Gregory's going to kill me. But yes, I would love to join you in a glass of wine. I would be foolish to refuse such charming company. So I squeeze into the booth, and we sit down. We enjoy a glass of Principato, white, chilled. It's very, very delicious. And these women are very lovely. I'm crushing on Violet. She's so pretty, and she's meeting my eyes. When we have a toast, you know what I mean. I sip, and she met my eyes, and so I'm like, oh no, I want to stay here. I don't want to go back to work. I want to stay with these ladies and with Barry. Anyhow, Barry turns to me, and I'm like, well, it's time for me to go. Gregory's going to jump up and down on my bones just for fun, with cleats in his shoes just for fun, but I got to get going. And Barry says, listen, Harry, I got something I got to tell you. And I'm like, yes? And he's like, I don't have any money. I'm like, oh. Perfect. He says, I'm going to have to owe you. And I say, it's fine, Barry, you're one of our regular customers. We love you. You're not going to give us any trouble. I appreciate it. No worry. And so I bid the lovely ladies good evening, and Barry good evening, and I go back and I sit down on the little benchlet and I lace up my Frankenstein boots. Takes a little while. And so, okay, we got to go back to work, and it's already well after 10 o'clock. I go out and start my trek back, and it's snowing. It's snowing. A snow squall has come up. Oh, isn't it perfect? So I'm walking in this snowstorm. It's a snow globe conditions, rosebud. And it's just snow wherever you go. And I'm beginning to look like Frosty the Snowman. And I'm going, okay, let me count my troubles. A, I'm late. B, I didn't get any money. C, Gregory's gonna kill me just because it is so late. Okay. But what I can do is maybe turn it around. I'll be all upset because they made me take my shoes off. Yeah, and that took so long and everything. And maybe, no, that's not going to work. He's just going to be mad. It's fine. So I'm rounding the corner to 83rd Street. And as I do, the snowstorm, the snow squall passes. And suddenly there's dark blue sky and no clouds. It's bitterly cold, but it's nice and fresh. And there's a layer of snow on everything, including me, Frosty the Snowman. So I walk into the booth store, and Gregory says, you ass bucket, which is what he says whenever he's mad at somebody. You ass bucket. And I'm like, listen, I'm doing the best I can. I went in there, and they made me take my shoes off because it's a Japanese restaurant. And Michael goes, they made him take his shoes off. And I go, on top of that, Barry didn't even have any money. And Gregory's like, what And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you mean you didn't even get me my cash? And I'm like, yeah, but I had to walk through this snowstorm. And they're like, yeah. And from that day forth, whenever I went on a delivery, when I'd be getting ready to go, I'd be taking my booze and getting my change ready. Gregory would say, Harry, don't take your shoes off. So that's the come away from this story. If you ever got to go someplace and you got to get back in time, whatever you do, keep your shoes on.